The wrench slipped from Marcus's grease-smeared hand, clattering against the concrete floor of the garage, the sound swallowed by the roar of a Harley-Davidson idling outside. His heart thudded harder than the engine. He wasn't just fixing any bike. This was the ride of Razor Callahan, a Hell's Angel with a rap sheet longer than the highway to Reno and a temper to match. Marcus, the only black mechanic in this rundown shop on the edge of town, knew one wrong move could cost him more than a paycheck. But what happened next would rewrite his life in ways no one could have seen coming. Marcus had worked at Grease Monkey Auto for 3 years, pouring his soul into every engine, every bolt, every busted carburetor. He wasn't just good, he was the best. Customers from all over Nevada drove hours to have him work his magic, his hands moving with the precision of a surgeon and the intuition of a jazz musician. But the shop's owner, Dale, a wiry man with a permanent scowl and a chip on his shoulder, never saw Marcus as anything more than the help. To Dale, Marcus's talent was a threat, his presence an inconvenience in a town where old prejudices lingered like exhaust fumes. That morning, Razor had rolled in, his leather vest creaking, chains jangling, and a scowl that could curdle motor oil. His bike, a 1983 Shovelhead, was coughing like it had pneumonia. "Fix it by sundown, or you're done," Razor growled, his voice low and menacing. Marcus nodded, hiding the knot in his stomach. He knew the Hells Angels didn't mess around, and this wasn't just a bike, it was Razor's pride, his identity, his freedom. As Marcus dove into the engine, the shop's fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, casting harsh shadows. His co-workers, a rough crew of white guys who never bothered to learn his name, snickered from the break room. "Hope you don't screw this one up, Marcus," one of them called, the word, boy, unspoken but hanging in the air. Marcus ignored them, focusing on the bike. He found the issue fast. A clogged fuel line and a misfiring spark plug, but the real problem was deeper. The bike's soul was tired, neglected, much like Marcus felt most days. Hours passed, and Marcus worked with a quiet intensity, his hands steady despite the weight of Razor's threat and Dale's constant hovering. Dale had been looking for an excuse to fire Marcus ever since a local paper ran a story calling him the genius mechanic of Elko. Jealousy festered in Dale like rust in an old chassis. By late afternoon, Marcus had the shovelhead purring like it was fresh off the assembly line. He wiped his hands, stepped back, and allowed himself a small, proud smile. Razor returned at dusk, his boots thudding against the pavement. He inspected the bike, ran his hand over the chrome, and fired it up. The engine roared, smooth and powerful, like a beast reborn. For a moment, Marcus thought he saw a flicker of respect in Razor's eyes. "Not bad, kid," the biker muttered, tossing him a crumpled $100 bill as a tip. Marcus pocketed it, relief washing over him. He'd done it, he'd survived. But Dale had other plans. As Razor rode off, Dale stormed out of his office, his face redder than a stoplight. "You think you're some hotshot now, huh?" he spat, "taking tips, acting like you run this place. You're done, Marcus. Pack your tools and get out." The words hit like a punch to the gut. Marcus stood frozen, the shop spinning around him. His coworkers watched, silent, some smirking. He'd poured his life into this place, worked overtime, fixed their mistakes, and now this. For what? A tip? For being too good. Marcus didn't beg. He gathered his tools, his hands shaking not from fear but from a rage he'd spent years swallowing. As he walked out into the Nevada heat, the weight of it all, Dale's hatred. The town's whispers, the constant need to prove himself, pressed down like a hydraulic lift. He was 32, with a daughter, Amara, to feed and a wife, Lena, who believed in him when he couldn't believe in himself. How was he going to face them? That night, Marcus sat in his small garage at home, staring at his tools, the $100 bill crumpled on the workbench. Lena found him there, her eyes soft but fierce. "You're better than that place, Marcus," she said, her voice steady. "You always have been. This is your chance." She handed him a flyer for a local bike show, a competition for custom builds with a $10,000 prize. "Build something. Show them who you are." Marcus hesitated. He'd always dreamed of building his own bike, but fear, of failure, of judgment, had kept him tinkering on other people's machines. Lena's words lit a spark, though, and Amara's laughter from the living room fanned it into a flame. He spent the next month in that garage, pouring every ounce of his skill, his pain, his hope into a custom chopper. It was a sleek, black beast with chrome accents that gleamed like moonlight, every curve a testament to his talent. He named it Amara's Star, for his daughter, the light of his life. The bike show was a chaotic swirl of leather, tattoos, and roaring engines. Marcus felt like an outsider, the only black face in a sea of bikers, but he held his head high. His chopper drew eyes immediately, its craftsmanship undeniable. Razor was there, too, his shovelhead parked nearby. When he saw Marcus, he nodded, a rare gesture of acknowledgement. The judges, a grizzled panel of bike builders, circled Marcus's creation, murmuring. One of them, a legend named Gus, ran his hand over the frame and said, "This ain't just a bike. This is art." When the judges announced the winner, Marcus's name echoed through the crowd. Cheers erupted, but so did whispers, some admiring, some bitter. Marcus stood on the stage, clutching the $10,000 check, his heart pounding. Gus pulled him aside after. "Kid, you've got something special. Ever think about your own shop?" Marcus hadn't, not really, but the seed was planted. The next day, a post on X about Marcus's win went viral. Bikers from across the country shared it, praising the chopper's design. Offers poured in, custom orders, sponsorships, even a TV producer wanting to feature him on a reality show about builders. But the real shock came when Razor showed up at Marcus's house, his bike rumbling in the driveway. Marcus braced himself, expecting trouble. Instead, Razor extended a hand. "Heard what happened at Grease Monkey," he said. "Dale's a fool. You fixed my ride better than anyone. Me and the boys want you to work on our bikes. Exclusive. You in?" Marcus was floored. The Hells Angels, notorious and feared, wanted him. It was risky, aligning with them could paint a target on his back, but it was also a chance to build something bigger. He shook Razor's hand, a deal sealed not just for work but for respect he'd never gotten at Dale's. With the prize money and Razor's backing, Marcus opened Star's Garage, in a leased lot downtown. Lena quit her job to manage the books, and Amara drew the shop's logo, a starburst over a wrench. The Hells Angels became his first clients, their bikes rolling in like thunder. Word spread, and soon, Marcus was turning away customers, his shop booked out for months. Dale's business, meanwhile, tanked, his remaining mechanics couldn't match Marcus's skill, and customers left in droves. One evening, as Marcus worked late, Gus stopped by. The old builder looked around the bustling shop, nodded, and said, "You didn't just build a bike, Marcus. You built a legacy." Marcus smiled, thinking of Amara, who'd started calling herself Daddy's little mechanic. He'd been fired, humiliated, counted out, but he'd turned pain into power, prejudice into pride. The lesson wasn't lost on him. Sometimes, the world tries to break you, but if you keep building your craft, your heart, your dreams, you can shock everyone, even yourself. As the neon sign of Star's Garage glowed against the Nevada night, Marcus knew he'd done more than fix a bike. He'd fixed his future.